grateful to be back here with the venerables and venerable monks and nuns and all the late devotees of the Vietnamese community. I think most venerable Phap Bao, I think the vision, his bodhicitta aspiration, more than 40 years ago has led to development of Buddha Dharma in the community and especially this temple. And because of his bodhicitta aspiration and blessings, we are all gathered here today. That is why I think it shows the importance of the bodhicitta motivation, how everything starts from our mind, our motivation. Our motivation is the direction, like the aim of all our effort. Everything starts from the motivation. Wherever there is a bodhicitta motivation, they will always bring happiness and a blessing to every sentient being. Wherever the motivation is wrong, even if outsidely we are doing the Dharma, if the motivation is wrong, it brings suffering and negativity to the wherever that wrong motivation goes. So I think it highlights the importance of Buddha's teaching that everything starts from the motivation. In the Mahayana, we teach Mahayana Sutra teaches that whatever we do, positive deed we do, whether it is bowing down to Buddha, whether it is chanting Buddha's name, whether it is giving donation to the temple, people who are suffering, meditation, whatever, as a Mahayana, all our practices must have three qualities. Even if you are praying only for 10 minutes every day, all of the practice must have three qualities. The first and foremost is the motivation to benefit sentient being, all the mother sentient being. In order to get enlightened for the sake of all sentient being, I am going to give food to the poor. I am going to build a temple, hospital, road, doing a chanting, making an offering, whatever I do it to get enlightened for the sake of every sentient being's happiness and relieving their suffering. So first and most important in a Mahayana practice, first is the motivation. It is the motivation that defines whether you are a Bodhisattva, Mahayana or not. It is the motivation defines it. So first and foremost in the Mahayana practice and Vajrayana is the motivation. All the great masters of the past, they always check their mind for motivation. There is one story that one of the great master, Bodhisattva master, one day there is a big ceremony in his temple. So he get up early in the morning and prepare the offering to Buddha. Very beautiful offering. Then he checked his motivation. He said, why am I, every day I should be making beautiful offering to Buddha. Why am I making very special today? Then he realized that he is doing it not for Buddha, but to impress all the people who are coming. So his motivation, it's a very bad motivation. This is not for the Buddha, this is not for, benefit sentient, it's for showing off. So he immediately go to the Buddha temple and put dust on all the flower and the, beautiful decoration. So of course we don't have to do like that, but we also have to always check our motivation. If we are not careful with our motivation, we can put so much of effort, sacrifice, and at the end of, instead of doing Dharma, we end up doing something that harms yourself and others. So first and foremost, motivation. Again, checking motivation. If the motivation is neutral or negative, we have to change the motivation to positive. From the beginning, nobody will have a great motivation. We are all, in the samsara. But we have to check and then improve and correct our motivation. That is why every Mahayana practice always begins with the refuge and bodhicitta, so that we can check our motivation. If you want to shoot an arrow, first you have to, aim very nicely where the arrow will go. Similarly, every Buddha Dharma practice, activity, organization, building temple, whatever we do, first and foremost, the motivation is very, very important. If we don't check our motivation, then sometimes we do many things for Buddha Dharma, but inside, we also want appreciation, gratitude, praise, and sometimes when things don't go the way we want, we feel disappointed and upset because in the beginning our motivation was not the correct motivation. If the motivation is correct, as long as what you do benefit other sentient beings, benefit the Buddha Dharma, whether you appreciate it or not, it doesn't matter, you will not be disappointed. So that is why the motivation is the first thing. And the second thing is that when we do the Buddha Dharma activity, your mind has to be present. You cannot be distracted. Even if whatever you are doing, whether you are doing, giving money, doing chanting, meditation, whatever, the mind has to be here. If the mind is distracted, you are doing so many things, chanting and touching mobile phone all the time, chanting and then, maybe doing calculation in the mind. After you chant many times, you can memorize, sometimes, you can do many things while chanting. There will be no benefit, maybe some blessing, because Dharma means to transform your mind. But if the mind isn't here, who to transform, right? Your mind is in the, mobile phone, mind is in, Vietnam or business or husband or wife, mind is everywhere. How to transform? The mind is not here only. If a doctor wants to cure a patient, you can't say, I will sit at home, you cure me from the hospital. That is not possible. So similarly, when you are doing a Buddha Dharma, whatever practice you do, mind should be present in this body, in this place, in this moment. Whatever you are doing, even if it's for 10-15 minutes, doesn't matter. But the presence of the mind is a very, very crucial. The second thing, Buddha is the doctor, Dharma is the medicine, Sangha is the nurse, and you are the patient, right? So all this has to come together. We are sick from ignorance, anger, jealousy, all the negative emotion. That's why we are suffering in the samsara from beginningless time. So Buddha is the doctor, he's teaching the medicine, and then the Sangha is like the nurse, and the doctor's advice, eat this, don't eat this, this is like the prescription that, Buddha gives you. Dharma is the medicine. So all of these has to come together. And lastly, so the first one is motivation. Second is presence of the being aware and bring your mind to the present with whatever you are doing. And third is dedicating your merit, your practice for the temporary and ultimate happiness of every sentient being. The reason why that is important is because if you have a little bit of water, it may get spilled, it may get dried up. But if you put the water in the ocean, until the ocean dry up, the water will never, your little bit of water will never dry. Similarly, if you pray only for your happiness, yourself, etc., that calm, that blessing is a very bit little. Also, when you accumulate too much of negative karma after you do positive karma, it can also destroy, diminish your good karma. So once you dedicate for this happiness and the blessing and enlightenment for yourself and every sentient being, until you become enlightened, your good karma will never ever disappear. That is why the dedication. So these three things in the sutra it is said: the good motivation, presence of the mind, not distracted, and the dedication for enlightenment, temporary and ultimate happiness of every sentient being. If these three are there, whatever you do, whether you chant for 5 minutes or 1 hour, whether you give $1 or $100 million, whatever you do, or you volunteer, whatever you do, will lead you to the path of enlightenment, will go towards enlightenment. And one thing, we have to know is that by asking monks and nuns to pray for you, giving, etc. You can get a lot of blessings and the merit for sure. But by other people chanting cannot transform our mind. Our mind, we have to transform ourselves. Blessing and merit you can get, but the transformation of the mind is something we have to do ourselves. So today we'll talk a little bit about Amitabha Buddha, Pure Land. So Buddha Shakyamuni, because Buddha Shakyamuni's motivation, why he got enlightened, why he practiced for eons and eons. In the Mahayana Sutra we say 3 countless eons Buddha practiced the 6 paramita. For he didn't become Buddha in just one life. He was already before that as a Bodhisattva. He practiced the 6 paramitas for eons and eons. Why did he do that? In order to become Buddha for the sake of every sentient being. That is why when Buddha was in the world, he gave many different teachings, many Buddha practices. Buddha Amitabha practice, Buddha many. So during one of those days, Buddha Shakyamuni gave teaching about the Buddha Amitabha. Buddha Shakyamuni taught in the sutra that, he said that my sons and my daughter, in the western direction from here, many galaxies away, world away, may not just planets away, but many galaxies, multi-world away, immeasurable, countless worlds and galaxies away in the western direction is the pure land of Buddha Amitabha. Buddha further said that when all the Buddhas, any one of us in the future, when we become a Buddha, when we are on the path of Bodhisattva, we have to benefit numerous sentient beings, have numerous aspirations to benefit sentient beings, and we have to choose the field of activity or the pure land. Where do I want to do my activity as a Buddha? Every Buddha have the choice. Buddha Shakyamuni chose this world. He didn't choose the pure land. He chose this world, as his field of activity. However, Buddha Amitabha, in his aspiration, through his aspiration, he created through his karma, his aspiration, a pure land of Amitabha Buddha, where once you are born there, you can live for eons and eons. Our one eon, even when all the 1,000 Buddha comes and goes, in Amitabha Buddha is just a pure land, is just a one day. Amitabha Buddha himself is also called Amitayu, the Buddha of a long Buddha of a life, because Amitabha Buddha is, is the Buddha of an extreme long life who have lived for eons and eons. Buddha himself. So Buddha Amitabha is also called Amitayu, the Buddha of a long life. So Amitayu means limitless life. So that's why even the mantra of Amitabha, when we say Om Ami Devashi, which is a Sanskrit word, this is not a Himalayan word. Om is the leading, is the word, the heading is Om. A means no. Ami means no death, Buddha beyond death or no death. Deva means the divine being of a Buddha of a no death, divine or a God, divine of no death. She is the heart syllable of Amitabha Buddha. So Om Ami Deva, she is praying to the Buddha that is beyond the death, and remembering him is the meaning of the Om Ami Deva Shi mantra. And Buddha Shakyamuni further said that Amitabha, our world that we are living right now, is created through the collective karma of those beings like us who live in this world. And that is why our people have different karma. So that is why in this planet Earth, some countries are very beautiful, some countries are very dry, very harsh weather, very difficult weather, some very cold, some very rich, some very poor. because people in the earth have and beings have a different sort of karma come together to create this. Our world is created by the collective karma of being in the world. But Amitabha Pure Land is not created by the karma of the being. It is created through that karma or aspiration of Buddha Amitabha Buddha. That is why in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, it is the Pure Land is said to be extremely beautiful, without any sort of hunger, poverty, ravens and dangerous terrains, or etc. Whatever, when we are born there, you are born from a lotus, not from a father and mother. Buddha talked about the 4 ways we are born in the world. So in Amitabha Buddha, you are born from the lotus, and as soon as you are born, you can, when you come out of the lotus, whatever you wish for, whether you wish for a house, food, etc., it appears. There is a beautiful birds, etc. When you want to, they sing song of the Dharma and the teaching. When you don't want to, etc. You have ability to manifest all sort of offering. But in that Pure Land, Amitabha Buddha is there. On his right side is Avalokiteswara or Kwanam, and the left side is the Vajrapani, the Buddha. The Buddha of the power of all the Buddha is in the Vajrapani, surrounded by many Arhats and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and all other Buddhas are also there. Thousands of Tara, thousands of all Buddhas are there. And once you are there, you will never ever go back to the samsara. Why? Because Buddha Amitabha will make sure that under his guidance, his teachings, you will become a Buddha and be able to come back to the samsara to benefit sentient being. So my sons and daughter, you should make an aspiration to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. You should know about the 4 conditions. If you can fulfill, you will be born to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. You should know about the certain negative cause condition which will prevent you from being born into Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So Buddha Shakyamuni gave the teaching and also encouraged his disciples to practice and make an aspiration to be born into Amitabha Pure Land. Other Buddha said that other pure lands of the Buddha are not easy to be reborn there. Because many of the other Buddha Pure Land, in order to be born there, you have to be Bodhisattva of the first bhumi at least, or you have to have a certain level of realization. Ordinary people cannot go there. But Amitabha Buddha, out of his great compassion, he wanted to, even ordinary people like us who are full of anger, maybe we try to do good, but sometimes we cannot be good. We have anger, negative emotions. It's okay. Buddha Amitabha, not because we are great, but Buddha Amitabha is great. That is why he created the Amitabha Pure Land, where it is very relatively easy to be born there. And it is important to make an aspiration to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, because once you are born, you have to die. Nobody can escape that. And when we will die also, we do not know. Maybe if you are a very, very good practitioner, maybe in this life, maybe you can become enlightened. But you do not know how long we have. Whether we can live for another 1 year, 2 years, maybe die tomorrow. There's no guarantee. It is said, that many people think it's very difficult to die, but it's very easy. All you have to do is breathe out and don't breathe in. That's it. There's no music. There's no, saying, okay, now I'm about to die. You just breathe out and cannot breathe in. That's it. Right? So we never know. In this world, how many, it is said, if all the people who have died, if they were alive, the world cannot fit them. World is not enough for them. We say 7 billion population in the world, but more than countless trillions and trillions people have died in this world. Many, whether it's kings, emperors, even Buddhas, when they are in human form, they at least pretend, appear to pass away. So that is why we never know when we will die. So that is why, even if you are a good practitioner, Amitabha Buddha Pure Land is your backup plan. Before you become Buddha, if you die, that's the backup plan. It's very important. So the 4 conditions, we need to cause and karma from the Buddha Amitabha's point, Amitabha's side. From his aspiration, he has created the pure land. That's very easy for us to be reborn. But from our side also, we need to create cause and condition. Even if the sun is shining outside, if you don't have an eye, you will never see the sun. So similarly, even if Buddha Amitabha has created the pure land, if we don't create a condition, we will never be born there just because it is there. There are many countries in the world. Why do we end up in Australia? Because we created the karma to be there, from past life to buying ticket to getting visa. That's why we ended up in Australia, not America. There are many Vietnamese in Orange County also. But why we end up here? Why in Sydney? Because of the karma. Australia is there, United States, we are here because of our action, cause, condition. So similarly, in order to be born into Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, also from our side, we need to create 4 cause and conditions. The first one is having a devotion and a faith in Amitabha Buddha, teaching of Buddha Shakyamuni, Amitabha Buddha and his pure land, and visualizing we have to read Amitabha Buddha Sutra, description of Amitabha Buddha and his pure in our mind again, having a strong sort of confidence, trust, confidence is the first quality that we need to create. And why is that important? Because if you don't have a confidence, you will never go. Tomorrow, if somebody from Vietnam, your brother come and meet you, but you don't believe, your friend say, oh, your brother come to see you. No, he's in Vietnam. You will not even go to see him, even he's nearby, because you don't believe it. Similarly, when we die, our bodies remain here. If the mind doesn't want to go to pure land, it will not go. That is why in the sutra, Amitabha Buddha Sutra, one of the teachings said that one person very devoted to Amitabha Buddha, but Amitabha Buddha come to welcome him. But he is very attached to his gold. So his mind cannot let go, and he could not go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Because when you are dead, it's the mind that has the wish to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Is there. So that is what first and foremost is the devotion and a visualization of Amitabha Buddha, remembering Amitabha Buddha and his pure land with the devotion, with the aspiration, is the first quality that we need to develop. Second is that Amitabha Buddha Pure Land is where every being who are born there are bodhisattva. So even if you are, so if we want to be reborn there, we must have a bodhicitta aspiration. Bodhicitta vow is one of the conditions. Maybe we are not a great bodhisattva, doesn't matter. But at least, we cannot think that I want to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, Other people I don't care. Especially people I don't like, I don't want them to go Amitabha Pure Land. If you think like that, definitely no visa, So you have to have aspiration that, may myself and all sentient beings be born to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. I also want to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, receive teaching, become Buddha, and come back to benefit the sentient being. So that bodhicitta aspiration, the wish to get enlightened for the sake of sentient being, is very important, because they are all those who are born in Amitabha Buddha, they are Mahayana, Bodhisattva practitioners. So that's why bodhicitta is the second quality. And then the third quality is that in order to be born, we have to do as much as we can, purification, accumulation of merit, from whatever, by serving our parent, by serving the Buddha Dharma, by, helping, even if you give a food to a dog, save one hand that's about to be stepped upon, you save the life hand. Whatever we can to accumulate the merit and the purification is the quality number 3. And then the quality number 4 is that every day we have to make an aspiration, dedication, basically dedication. Whether you do it with Namo Azidafat or remembering Buddha, or you do short prayer, but every day, even nothing else, if you can just recite Amitabha Buddha 100 times, his name, Azidafat, Namo Azidafat, Namo Azidafat, really, just 100 times, but every day remind and make aspirations that tomorrow if I don't wake up, I go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. The dedication is full, the having faith and devotion to Amitabha Buddha and his Pure Land, bodhicitta, accumulating merit and purification as much as possible, and then doing the dedication, because I give food to the being, because I do this seva, I do this merit. With this merit, may I be born into Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. This dedication, if you have these 4 qualities, any sentient being, even though we are not nothing special, we still have a lot of negativity. We can still be born into Amitabha Buddha Pure Land if you have these 4 qualities. However, there are 6 things. If we do those 6 negative karma, then our visa to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land get rejected. Until that, purify. So these 6 things we have to know. The first 5, I think, we Buddhists, we all know, are the 5 inexpiable negative karma. Killing your father, killing your mother, killing an arahat, physically harming a Buddha, creating the Sangha to have a division. These are the 5 things. If we have done, then until that is completely purified, through great purification, Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, we will not be reborn. Then the 6th one is called giving up the Dharma, which means that we should never criticize any of the Buddha's yana. What you want to follow, what you feel connected to, is up to you. Some people feel connected to Theravada, they like discipline, they like very strict, that is good for them, that's why Buddha gave, and that will benefit them. Some they like loving kindness, helping sentient being, and for them, loving kindness and bodhicitta is the most important. For example, if you are a mother and you have a $1 million, and your doctor says that, to cure your son, you need $1 million. For you, $1 million is nothing but to use to cure your child. So as a Mahayana practitioner, loving kindness is the more, bodhicitta is the most important. Similarly, if you are a Vajrayana practitioner, yes, discipline is important, bodhicitta important, but more important, also important is to, transform your perception through visualization. Because of your anger, you perceive somebody as an enemy. Because of your desire, you perceive, gold, which is a metal, as a precious, steel as not precious. Your perception, deludes you, creates negative emotion and the karma. That is why through the visualizing Pure Land, visualizing Buddha, yourself as a Buddha, etc., you purify your perception. And many other methods to get enlightened very quickly. So some people, they feel connected to Vajrayana, but no matter what yana you follow, they all come from the Buddha. They all teach, do not do negative action, do positive action, transform your mind. There's no yana that say kill people, harm other people, nobody. All the 3 yana, they talk about law of the karma, transforming the mind. How they transform mind, little bit different method. So that is why criticizing one yana is criticizing all the Buddha's teaching. Criticizing Vietnamese in Australia is criticizing all the Vietnamese in the world, or etc. So that is why it is said that because when we criticize, what happens is that some other people, let's say you are a Vajrayana, you say, oh, my Theravada not very good. Maybe that person have a karma with a Theravada. Maybe he has a karma to become Arahat. But because of our criticism, that person's path to liberation get blocked by us. So that is why we should never, you can follow whatever yana you want, but respect all the yanas. So this is why the sixth one is called giving up the Dharma. So it is said, if you do the 6 things, then until these karma are purified, we will not be reborn in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So these 6 things we have to know if we want to get pure Amitabha Pure Land PR. Point system is like this. So it is said that in the sutra, if you fulfill all the conditions, you fulfill the 4 conditions, you avoid the 6 negative cause and conditions, but you still feel doubt in your heart. You feel, oh, can I really be born Amitabha Buddha Pure Land? I am not a very good person. Sometimes I make mistake. Sometimes I do little bit of lie here, there. Sometimes I do little bit of profit for business. Little bit. Can I really be born, even though I fulfill all the conditions? Then it is said that because of your doubt, you will be born in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, but the lotus will not open for 500 years because you have this doubt, hesitation. So 500 years of Amitabha Buddha Pure Land is a very long time here. One day is 1 eon. So 500 years you can receive the Buddha's teaching. Inside the lotus is a very comfortable house. Housing no problem, fooding no problem, but cannot see the Buddha Amitabha for 500 eons, 500 years, because of the doubt. So that is why, if you have fulfilled these conditions and avoided or purified the 6 negative conditions, then we should all be very happy, very confidently knowing that we are going to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Not because we are great, but because Buddha Amitabha is great. That is why. And those who pray to Amitabha Buddha, not only will they be born in the next life, but even in this life, they will have a very long life, good health, wish fulfillment. And many other Buddha, like Kwanam, are also a manifestation of, in a one way, you can say student of Amitabha Buddha. In a one way, you can say manifestation of Amitabha Buddha, Tara, etc. So that's why those who pray to Amitabha Buddha, is praying to the father of all the Buddha. And by praying to Amitabha Buddha, we will be blessed with a long life, good health, wish fulfillment, everything. So that is why, if you can understand that within Amitabha Buddha, all the Buddha's blessing is also there. So we'll have our break here, and then we come back, and then we'll be doing the Amitabha Buddha practice. So we will continue the Bardo teaching while we can recite the Buddha Amitabha mantra. So yesterday we came to the Bardo between, we talked about 3 Bardo. Bardo between birth and death. And within that Bardo, the dream Bardo, the deep Samadhi Bardo were all part of the Bardo between life and death. And then also we talked that when the time for death comes, when we are nearing death, to remembering the Amitabha Buddha, doing purification, making aspiration to be born in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, offering mandala, understanding the life, experiences of life and wealth in the family, like a dream, like a rainbow, and having no attachment, especially at that time, are the crucial. Now, from now on, we will explain the actual process of dying, when it is said in the Bardo teaching, what is this that will happen, So when the time for death has truly come, no amount of medicine, no amount of prayer, and when the life, karma, merit, all have finished, exhausted, even the medicine Buddha himself cannot save us. So that time, the process of dying will start. It is said that our 5 senses will start to shut down, So when we are, when we start to not able to see, not able to hear what they are saying around us, not able to sense the feeling, the touch, the taste, the five senses started to shut down. And our physical bodies are also, has components of, has composed of five elements. How do we say five elements? Five elements in terms of function. For example, our body has a warmth. Without warmth, there will be no body temperature that is maintained. There will be no digestion. So warmth is called the fire element. Our flesh and bones are called the earth element. The blood, the saliva, liquid part of our body are called the water element. The fact that we breathe, it is said from the Vajrayana Yoga that every day we breathe in and out. We breathe in and out 21,000 times in one day. So these are called the five elements. So firstly, the five senses start to shut down. So when you're about to die, even if somebody near, they can't see you, they can't hear you, they can't feel the sensation. And then the five elements also start to dissolve or shut down one after another. And when the fire element dissolves, then even if the person who is about to die is living in 45 degrees Celsius, they start to feel cold. They start to shiver. They want more blanket, and they can't feel the heat. They feel very cold. That is a sign that the fire element is starting to dissolve. And then when the earth elements start to dissolve, they lose all the physical strength. Even though someone yesterday, he was the strongest person in the house, but that time, he can't even move his body. His body feels heavy. He loses all the physical strength. And then when the blood element, the water element start to dissolve, then they feel thirsty. When people are about to die, they ask for water. They want to drink water, and if their throats dry, they find it hard to speak. And then finally, the wind elements start to dissolve. And when the wind elements start to dissolve, then the breathing becomes difficult. I personally have never. I went before people are about to die, but during the death I have not been. But my gurus told me that when they go to guide people, usually people, when they are about to die, their breathing becomes very harsh and ragged, and they breathe in and out very harshly, and then they breathe out, and then they breathe in, and then finally there's one long exhalation, and then they can't breathe in. So at that time we call the outer breathing has stopped, but the inner breathing, there are 4 moments of inner breathing which is still continue. It's like you switch off your phone, but inside, there's still systems are shutting down. And in the 4 moments of the inner breathing, so externally the body has stopped breathing. So clinically you might be considered dead, but from the Bardo's teaching it says that innerly, the breath has not been exhausted. The inner breathing is going on, and during that time, our emotions also, the gross emotions. For example, in these 4 moments of inner breathing, firstly, all the gross emotions related to anger start to dissolve into the desire. And then the desire, is also start to dissolve in the next second moment. Desire also start to dissolve into the ignorance. And then the ignorance also start to dissolve into the nature of the mind, or Buddha nature. So, and then that person also sees in their mind, there is something similar to what nowadays the people in the near-death experience they describe. They describe seeing light, seeing space, seeing space. Similar like that in the Bardo teaching, it is said that, when these dissolutions happen, start seeing something like a grey sky, this bright light, and then ultimately, the experience of having a clear blue sky, clear spaciousness of the space, they experience like that. So in a way, so the anger, emotions related to anger dissolving into the desire is the first movement. Then desire dissolving into the ignorance. Ignorance dissolve into you can call it emptiness, you can call it Buddha nature. In the Bardo we use the word into the clear light, right? And then the experience is you feel like looking at a cloudless sky, pure cloudless sky. This is the experience that one feels. So from the Vajrayana teaching, the fourth movement, where all the gross, the anger into desire, ignorance also dissolve into the nature of the mind or the clear light, Buddha nature. So in the Vajrayana we say that is the naturally there is the dissolution will happen into the Buddha nature, and if you are someone, and that clearness, that brightness, that undefinable nature is called the mother clear light. And when we are alive, we do meditation, especially meditation to recognize, meditation related to Prajna Paramita, understanding, what the Buddha has said. Mind is emptiness, emptiness is mind. Other than emptiness, there is no mind. Other than mind, there is no emptiness. All the form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Other than form, there is no emptiness. Other than emptiness, there is no form. All of these teachings of the Prajna Paramita, if you have practiced, you have done meditation, look into your nature of the mind, you practice diligently. That meditation that we have cultivated is called the sun, sun clear light, like a baby, baby clear light. So when you do, every day you do practice that, practicing the Prajna Paramita, at that time when the consciousness, the gross negative emotion dissolve into the nature, you can recognize it like a mother and son meeting. And when you can recognize, because every day you are practicing, so it feels very familiar. Because if you practice daily, if you are aware of your emotions, even in day-to-day life, you will see that emotions are not something that is inherent reality. Emotion arises from the nature of the mind. It dissolves back into the nature of the mind. Like Buddha has said, emotion is nature of the mind, emptiness. Emptiness is emotion. Like a wave and the ocean, they are not separate. So if you are doing meditation on a daily basis into the Prajna Paramita, nature of the mind, you already have a very good confidence. So during the time of the death, when these naturally happen, you can recognize it. If you recognize it, that is called Tukdam. If you cannot recognize it, it will go in 1 second. It won't stay long. It depends on the practitioner. So if they can recognize it and then stay in that meditation, this is the opportunity to get enlightened in the Dharmakaya. And that practitioner who recognizes it, externally their body will be, staying relatively straight. Around their heart there will be a warmth. Even if that person stays in meditation for 2 weeks, their body will not smell rotten. You don't need air condition or put some salt or inject medicine, that is a fake Tukdam, The real Tukdam, you don't need to put salt or injection, nothing, Naturally, the body will have a glow like they are alive. Around the heart, there will be a warmth. That means that person was able to recognize into the, when the clear light, mother clear light appeared, and they could recognize it, and they got enlightened. And many, not many, but happens in the Himalaya, and many who have been great meditation practitioner, they stay in Tukdam for up to 2 weeks. So then when they come out of Tukdam, there is a sign, like a white and a black, red, liquid comes out. Because when we are alive due to physically from the father's and mother's essence. So usually father's essence is on the crown of your head, mother essence is in the navel. So that time they are no longer four elements separating them. So they, the father's element comes down, mother's element go up. So in the heart it clashes. So for ordinary people, that clash kind of shocks, and then the consciousness, they kind of go unconscious, and then they kind of consciousness is forced out, and they kind of black out for 3 days, for a few days, etc. Anyway, for practitioners, when they come out of the sign that they have come out of their tukdam, from their nose, the white and the red father's and the mother's essence start to white and red liquid start to come down. At that time we know, oh, now he has come out of tukdam. Or you can also wake up somebody. If it's emergency, there's a way to, if they stay tukdam too long, someday for too long, there's a process of waking up also. Anyway, if you are able to become that kind of practitioner, that means that maybe you couldn't get enlightened when you're alive, but in your bardo, first time you got enlightened. So there's no more continued bardo for you. So there are two types of people where no more bardo. One is one who can recognize and become enlightened. One who is so much negative karma that as soon as their outer inner breathing stop, when they open, they're already in the lower realm, in the hell realm. So for these two, there's no bardo. For others, we have to, bardo will continue. So we pray to Amitabha Buddha, and we try to familiarize with the bardo process, so that when these process of our 5 senses shutting down, 5 elements shutting down, we can recognize it. And if we can recognize it, we can remember our Guru, we can remember Buddha Amitabha, we can remember our practice and use it as opportunity to get enlightened. If not, at least to, even if we can't get enlightened, at least we can use the opportunity to remember Buddha, do purification, do confession, and do the bodhicitta, and do the dedication to be born into Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. If that is, it is said that even if somebody is about to fall down from a cliff, if many people come together and help, you can pull that person up. Similarly, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are great compassion. Only thing they need is little bit of, they have the hook, but they need the ring of our devotion, our connection with the Buddha. They are throwing the hook all the time. Milarepa said, that somebody asked Milarepa, please give me blessing. Milarepa said, please give me devotion. If there is no devotion, there cannot be blessing. So if by devotion to Buddha Amitabha, Buddha Kwante and all the Buddha, remembering them, remembering their name, one can be liberated. And so how long we will be unconscious when the father's and mother essence clashes, and then we get unconscious out of the shock? How long we will remain unconscious? Some they say 1 day, some 2 days, some 3 days. So that is why some, up to them. Even the bardo, it is said, it's not an exact science. It is said that not everyone will have 100% bardo like what is written in the text, because people also have different karma, different cause and conditions. So that is why bardo can also, this is a generally teaching, but bardo can also be slightly different experiences. So some can be unconscious for just 1 day, some immediately get up. So anyway, when they awaken, then the consciousness comes out with the last remaining air in our body. That air is the, generally in the yoga we say that air is the horse, mind is the rider. So that's why you may have seen Vajrayana, the breathing yoga, and all of these are all ways to tame the mind. Anyway, with the last remaining air, the consciousness comes out, and it is said that by checking where the consciousness has come out of, we can also predict where they are born. It is said that for the consciousness to come out, there are 9 doors. Your navel, point between your eyes, your fontanelle, your eye, urine, excrement, mouth, etc. So there are the 9 kind of ears and nose, etc. So there are 9, if you read the Bardo prayer, it is written there very clearly. So there are 9 exits. And among these 9 exits, the best exit is from the crown of your head. That is why there's a practice called Poa, where when you're alive, you practice throwing, practice throwing out your consciousness into Amitabha Buddha and then putting it back. And after 7 days, you can have a sign, like a swelling, like the blood coming out. Even when you're alive, there is a way to practice that, so that when you're about to die, you can direct your own consciousness to go to the Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So anyway, so how you can know where the consciousness come out is sometimes if someone dies with the eyes open, is an indication that consciousness come out from the eye. Someone died with the mouth open, some with a little bit of urine, some little bit of excrement. These are the sign that consciousness has come out from these, the exits. That's why in the Himalayan Vajrayana countries, when a person is about to die, when a person is died, we try not to touch them for at least 24 hours, especially if they are practitioner, because we know that outer breathing has stopped, but inner dying process is still going on. And if we have to touch, the first place that we touch is maybe with a Buddha statue or some sort of holy object, and we touch on the crown of their head so that consciousness can come out from here. It is said that even if someone is up, wherever you touch can also disturb their exit. For example, if you are walking and somebody touch you on the back, your consciousness will go here. And you say, oh, who's touching me? Your mind goes here. Similarly, like that, when we are, after we dead also, after we die, the first place, if we have to touch, should be the crown of place with some sort of a sacred or holy object. The peel that our monk, venerable monk, is giving you, inside is the Kwante peel. So inside we mix water and earth and relics of the Buddha and recite the Kwante mantra 100 million times, so that when someone is sick, when someone is about to die, by the blessing of the Buddha, by tasting the holy peel, may they be liberated, combined with their devotion and the blessing of the Buddha. It is said that once you are about to die, if they take the holy peels, they will never go to the lower realms. So that is what is being shared right now. So then, with that, consciousness comes out, and as soon as consciousness comes out, due to the karma, immediately they get a light kind of a body. It's not a physical body, but immaterial kind of a light-like body. They say about, if I remember correctly, they say about a 12-year-old boy, basically, they look very much, little bit, they look, I think especially, they remember the past very clearly. So they are light kind of a body, not very substantial, not a material, but more of a light body. And only thing they can consume is the smell. They cannot consume solid things, only the smell. That is why in the Vajrayana, when we give them the food, first we make the offering to Buddha Amitabha Buddha. And by the Buddha Amitabha, by the blessing of merit offering to Buddha Amitabha, may the beings born in the Bardo realm, may they also be able to consume the food. Then we burn the food and then, give to the beings who are in the Bardo. So they can consume that, they can consume only the smell. And then when they, for 3.5 days, they don't know that they have died, because it's a very surprise. Nobody died with a choice, So they don't, so they're surprised, so they go into the sand. There's no footprint. There is no sun and moon also. It is said that to see the sun and moon also, for example, you need eyes to see. Similarly, one of the conditions for many cause and condition to experience this world is father's and mother's essence. When you don't have that, you can't see the sun and moon. So in the Bardo realm, there is no sun and moon, there is no footprint, there is no shadow, So, and then you are able to see all other, especially other beings in the bardo. You can go, as soon as you think of Australia, you are in Australia. As soon as you think of Vietnam, you are there. And you can read people's mind. You talk to them, but they do not reply to you. So there are a lot of fear, confusion about what is happening. Only two places that they cannot go is mother's womb. Unless they have the karma to be born into the human world, they cannot by choice. They can go to mother's womb. They cannot go to Bodh Gaya, it is said, because the Bodh Gaya is a very sacred place where Buddha got enlightened. Other than the mother's womb and the Bodh Gaya, there is no place they cannot go because they are no longer bound by the body. So whenever they think of something, they are already there. And as I mentioned earlier, they can read people's mind. So if they see that their family members or people around them genuinely didn't care for them, now they're thinking about how to divide the property and arguing and all of that. They feel a lot of worry. About 7 or 8, I can't remember when, I think 10 years ago, once in Bhutan, we were going in a walking pilgrimage called Padayatra. So one day I reached a place called Bumthang in the central Bhutan. That time about 100 of us, we sleep in a school. So that time the school principal said that you came at the right time, because one of the boy, he's I think his father passed away, and then his father possessed the boy, and he was a local leader, we call Cup. He possessed the boy and he told his wife, you have a Buddha statue made of gold, please bring that to me, you must give it to my son, because we don't think that Buddha is object of refuge. Buddha is also become wealth, and so expensive Buddha is maybe not very good, right? Expensive Buddha. So anyway, he wants like that, and then he told his wife, please don't get married, don't get married again. Even though he's already dead, he has no body, whether your wife marry or not, nothing to do with him, but because of attachment. So then the wife had to promise that she will not get married. She'll give. Then only, that the boy, that possession left the boy. And it was just local leader who had died like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that being in the Bardo realm, they can read people's mind, and they can read others' intentions. So they feel many disappointment, sadness. When they talk to others, they don't get replies. So a lot of confusion. But after 3.5 days, by 4 days, then they begin to understand that, suspect and confirm that now I think I am dead. I think I passed away. I am in the Bardo realm. And then when together with the realization comes a lot of sadness, helplessness, and looking for a refuge, but don't know where to go for a refuge. So at that time, maybe remember Buddha Amitabha, maybe remember the Dharma, and if you are a practitioner, maybe remember that your own Buddha nature, is the ultimate refuge. So they check, my money they are using to accumulate good karma for me or not. What are they doing? They can see all of that, but very helpless. And in the Bardo, they feel fear, they feel hot, they feel cold, all because of their own illusions. And sometimes they see like a big kind of, like a raven from where they fall. Sometimes they see a lot of scary things, like a very scary people, like a 1,000 dragons shouting together, thunder, extremely scary people, scary beings chasing them. And these are all a reflection of your own emotions, our own anger, jealousy, pride, etc. Even in our day-to-day life also, there is a saying that you have got nothing to fear except fear itself, So similarly like that, what we are, when in the life now also, when we see something scary, it is scary because of our fear getting reflected back at us. If you don't feel fear, there are many people who play with the snake, play with many things. Some people they sleep with the snake also, they don't mind. If we see snake, we'll run away from 1 kilometer away, right? Even the toy snake, is very scary. Why? It is not the snake that is scary, it's your own fear getting reflected back at you. So similarly, because we have not recognized the non-existing nature of the emotion. So these emotion in the Bardo realm appears as all sort of, wrathful deities, etc. So that time we pray that may I remember them, may I recognize all of these deities and the kind of wrathful beings, etc. They are nothing but a manifestation of my own mind, reflection of my own mind, and recognize them as a non-existing. May I be able to recognize that. So the master, the great master, previous Dokhampa Rinpoche said that when you are alive right now, during the Bardo is very late. You are depending on other people to do for you. Right now, when you are alive, if you can accumulate virtue, if you can remember practicing the whatever merit from making offering to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, helping the other beings who are going through hunger and pain, and building stupa, etc. Whatever merit you can do, that is the only thing you can take. And otherwise, in the Vajrayana tradition, another tradition we do is during the Bardo, we invite, I think in the they say it's Hautu or Changwa, where you invite the deceased beings' consciousness into the into the some sort of drawing. And then, we give them teaching, give them non-attachment teaching, impermanence, karma, give them initiation, and with lots of good merit that is done after they pass away, it is possible to change. However, the master say in the Himalayan region, usually when we do the prayer, we say the first 4 days are very important because that is the time they go unconscious, and then when they awaken, there are a lot of confusion and fear and acceptance. So first 4 days are very important. Then every 7 days they go through a mini death again, and they are again reborn. So for these 7 days are called Dinsik. So during these 7 days, there is a tradition of doing prayer, Amitabha Buddha prayer, whatever prayer, during the specific every 7 days until 49. However, the master here says that even though there is a tradition of doing till 49, more important is the 21 days, the three weeks. The reason for that is still the 3 weeks, they are influenced by their past life memories. After 21 days, even their body begin to change. If they are going to be born as an animal, they start to walk with the 4 legs, and they want to eat grass. Their memory of the past begins to fade. And where they are going to be born, that memory starts to, the influence starts to become stronger. And then it's very difficult to change the birth. So that is why most important, whatever virtue and prayer we want to do, we should try to do in the 21 days, within the 21 days after someone has passed away. And then depending on, your karma, if you are going to be born as a human being, for example, from far away you can see your father and mother. If you are going to be born as a boy, you feel attachment or attraction towards the mother and the anger towards the father. And this desire and anger becomes the seed that draws the consciousness into the womb. You need a reason. If you want to go somewhere also, either you will go because you want something, or you are so angry you want to go and tell somebody something, then you will try for 3 days, just to fight, feel satisfaction. So anger and desire are very strong motivator. So similarly, when we are born also, we can see that if you are going to be born as a daughter, then you feel attachment towards the father and anger towards the mother. So fueled by the anger and the desire, consciousness enters the womb, and then we take rebirth. Similarly, if you are going to be born into the hell realm, you see a very warm, you feel very cold, and you see a burning on a very warm iron house with a fire, and you feel like taking a refuge from the cold. And as soon as you feel desire to go, then you have taken rebirth. Similarly, taking shelter in the leaf animal realm, seeing men and women bathing is a god realm, so etc. The 6 realms, the different things. Basically, we have to feel a sense of fear or anger and a desire. Anger and fear is a true side of same coin. So we have that emotion has to draw there. So those of you, those who are practitioners at that time can remember their Buddha, remember their practice, and calm the mind. Then they can visualize the father as the Amitabha Buddha, mother as a maybe female Tara or female Buddha. So instead of having a desire and anger, you feel sense of devotion and calm your mind, and then make an aspiration to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, go to Pure Land. If you have to be born into the human world, at least born in a country where there's Buddha Dharma, good parent, great masters are there, you are able to choose. So that is the whole essence of the Bardo teaching. We kind of general, if you go in detail, there are many other details. I think we don't have time. But at the end of the day, the great master, the previous gentleman, advised that at the end of the day, among all the Bardo, the most important Bardo is Bardo right now that we are in. As I mentioned yesterday, the flight is taken off from Sydney Airport. It's not yet landed in, I don't know, Saigon, Ho Chi Minh, wherever you're, Hanoi, where you're going. Until that plane right now, this is the most important Bardo. During this Bardo, if when we are alive, you can do practice, you can do virtuous thing, then all Bardo, some Bardo, you will not even have to go through. So the most important Bardo is the Bardo after the birth and before the death process has started. So now I think we are doing a lamb offering. So when we do the lamb offering, we visualize that the lamb that we are holding multiplies into immeasurable lamb which lights up the entire universe. We offer to Amitabha Buddha, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so that in this life, in the Bardo, in the next life, when we are lost in the darkness of ignorance, may Buddha Amitabha and Bodhisattvas guide us on the path to enlightenment, path to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Before, during the Buddha's time, one old lady, she offered a lamb. It is said that that all other lambs died, but that lamb stayed for weeks and weeks. And even Shariputra couldn't put it off. And then Buddha said, this lamb you cannot put it off, because this lamb was offered by the old lady, not for herself, but for the sake of liberating all the sentient beings. That is why in the future she will become the Buddha of a lamb, Buddha named Marmeze, who will liberate lot of sentient beings. So it is said that sometimes it is not the value of the object, but our motivation, whether it's only for ourselves or for the sake of all sentient beings, that determines the greatness of the merit.
Kusum